I'm not bilingual. I am barely unilingual. Today is April 11th, 2026. April is National Fair Housing Month, and I've committed to doing a fair housing video every day in the month of April. A few years back, I had an individual reach out to me. They were Hispanic, and I could tell that English was their second language. And so I offhandedly just said, I'll have a Spanish-speaking agent give you a call. He responded with, no, we wanted to work with you. And I said, okay. And so I met with his family, and his daughter. His daughter was very fluent in English. And so I was comfortable that if I needed to communicate the finer points of the contract, I could communicate through her. And I also had an agent on standby that spoke Spanish in case I felt like I wasn't communicating effectively. Moving forward in the transaction a couple weeks later, he shared with me that at the time he felt like I was blowing him off because he was Hispanic and that they weren't worth my time. And I apologized, and I said, I'm so sorry, that's not what I intended at all. I was only concerned about communication. He said he understood that at that point, but that's the way that he felt at the time. Now, I didn't get defensive. I didn't say, well, you're playing the race card, or, well, that's not what I meant, or you're taking out of context, or any of those kinds of things. I just listened. I tried to understand their perspective, and I wanted to make sure that they knew that I heard them. And so in sales, it is imperative that we communicate effectively. And so one of the things that I teach in some of my trainings and stuff is it doesn't really matter what we say or what we mean. It only matters what other people hear and what they think we mean. And that's imperative in sales, as you can imagine, because communication is key. But it's also the way that we should kind of go through life, right? I think too often we're so busy being defensive that we don't hear what other people's concerns are. And I'm so thankful that he shared that with me because it changed the way that I did business moving forward. And so if I talk to somebody who is English second and they speak another language as their first language, I just say, would you like me to have someone reach out to you that speaks your first language? So if they're a Spanish speaking individual, I say, would you like me to have an agent reach out to you that speaks Spanish? Would you prefer if I had an agent reach out to you that speaks Mandarin? Whatever their first language is. I give them agency in the transaction. And yes, sometimes they say, yes, I'd be more comfortable with that. And awesome. I'm happy to connect you with that person. And sometimes they're like, no, I'm comfortable with this. Awesome. Let's get through this together. It would never happen that I get better if I only got defensive.